Let's talk about a few things I've learned about fasting from experience, from reading over the past couple years since I've been fasting. So, number one, why you should fast. Fasting is the body's natural way of healing. When you fast, your cells go through cellular autophagy and they're able to basically cleanse themselves and reuse the old parts of the cell to better function. Not only that, when you fast, your body is no longer digesting food, so it has a chance to circulate the blood throughout the body, carry it to where it needs to go, and cleanse itself. So, getting rid of any mucus and waste in the body. When you're really sick, you don't have an appetite, and it's because your body is saying, I don't need food right now. I need to focus on healing, which is basically a cleansing. It may hurt, it may not feel good, but the way that the body is working for you is helping you. You think you're sick, but really another way to look at it is you're feeling better. You're making yourself feel better by ridding yourself of waste and mucus. Another thing that I have learned about fasting, and a way to think about this too, when you're fasting, and specifically I'm talking about water fasting for a period of time, your body's just cleansing itself. Take the water, it is able to give you like an internal shower consistently, and it's almost like a sponge. If you're running water through a sponge, and your organs and the blood, everything contracts, you're alive, you're moving. So things are pushing out the mucus that's in there, the water is helping. And if you do herbal tea, that's also good because the properties from the herbs are going to further progress your healing process and help you. Another thing that I have learned is that during the fast, you're going to have to take a laxative or an enema. So when you fast, your body does not have bowel movements because there's no stimulation to the colon. When you eat food, your colon gets stimulated, so your body knows, all right, I need to go to the bathroom. When you're not eating, the colon is not stimulated, so you won't go. So you need to take a laxative or have an enema. Preferably an herbal natural laxative. There's herbs that will cleanse your body. Another thing that I've learned about fasting is that you might feel awful if you're fasting for more than one day. You're probably gonna feel a little bit tired. Your head's gonna hurt. Who knows? You might even feel a fever or really sick, but again, that's your body ridding itself. It's finally got the chance to get all this stuff out. Excuse me. Another thing about fasting is that as you're fasting and your body is healing itself, it's putting all the mucus and waste out, and it's being filtered through different organs, and then it's gonna go to where the waste usually comes out, right? Your colon. And so if you're fasting, you're not having a bowel movement and all this waste is building up in your colon. You need to, again, take a laxative, but be very careful about what you eat after you break a fast. So the refeeding process of fasting should be one of elimination. You are going to want to eliminate all that waste that has built up and just get it all out. Get it all out. After you break a fast, the quicker that you have a bowel movement, the better. So typically during a fast, your stomach is going to shrink. It's going to get smaller, so you won't be able to eat much food. And when you break that fast, you're going to want to eat smaller portions, but that first time that you eat, if you don't have a bowel movement, eat more. Eat until you have a bowel movement. I know we're talking a lot about bowel movements, but it's very important to fasting because that's basically the way that you're going to cleanse yourself. Another thing that I've learned about fasting is that depending on the way that you eat, fasting is going to look different for you. So fasting is going to look different for everyone. If you're someone who has a lot of waste in the body, there are certain things that are going to help you more, such as fasting for a shorter period of time and changing your eating habits to be of foods that produce less mucus and less acid in the body, so that your body can prepare itself by starting the elimination process from you eating before fasting, where it's really getting into elimination more deeply. So if you're someone who eats a lot of mucus and acid forming foods, start changing the way that you eat to be less mucusy and acid forming. Foods like this: herbs, fruits, vegetables. And you can have fun with this. Basically, minimal eggs, fish, dairy, meat. Minimal of that. If you do eat that, eat it less if you're going on a fast. And refeeding after a fast. This is super duper important. I have experienced the bad side of refeeding. The first time I did a longer fast, which was for me a 3-day water fast, I felt good. I did the fast because I was like, all right, I'm done with fish. I was in dairy. I was pescatarian at the time, and I just wanted to go fully plant-based, fully vegan. And I was like, okay, I'm going to fast to give my body a little reset and then be vegan after. So I did my 3-day water fast, and I was like, okay, now I'm vegan. And I went to the movies one day with one of my friends. We went to the Alamo, so they have a menu and you can eat while you watch a movie. We pigged out. Not good. This was probably 2 or 3 days after my fast. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do any research. I just knew like fasting was good. And so I got buffalo cauliflower and french fries, fried, hot sauce. Who knows what they put in that, even though it's buffalo cauliflower. Like, when you're not on a fast or coming off a fast, these things are fine typically. And then I also got a Beyond Burger because I was like, I'm vegan. I wasn't eating meat anyway, so I was eating more Impossible meats and like plant burger and stuff anyway. So I was familiar with it, knew that my body would be fine, but I was very wrong because when I ate that Beyond Burger, I think it was the Beyond Burger that did this to me, but it gave me a very horrible reaction that scared the out of me, okay? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I ended up fasting again because I was like, okay, if I fast again, my body will heal itself faster, which it did. But I knew then that there's something more to fasting that I need to learn about, because why did my body do this? It did this because the colon is in the digestive system is going to be very sensitive after a fast. It hasn't had any food, so it needs to be refed. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be coddled back to where you were before, and also even better than you were before. Do not detox to retox. So when you're fasting and you're detoxing, don't retoxify your body by putting garbage back in. Another thing that I've learned about fasting is that fasting with the seasons is going to be good because you get the power of the sun, the moon, and things like that, things in nature. So during each change of season, I do a fast. We just had the summer solstice, right? We have solstices and equinoxes. So you're going to want to fast during those times and harness that energy, harness that power, because you're not eating food. So you're able to connect more deeply spiritually and with God and with your voice, with yourself. Hear yourself. Hear what's really healing here. Hear what's really going on with your body, what your body wants you to know. And we're gonna go visualize, do all these things that are just amazing for you, and harness that earth energy. So I do a fast with each season. I just did my summer equinox summer solstice fast, and that was good. I did 2 days fruit, 4 days water, and then 1 day fruit, and then I took a week to refeed myself. I was very, very careful, and I have a video on the things that I ate during that fast to get me back into a healthy state of being. And now I pretty much am eating. It's been a few weeks, so I'm eating now whatever I want, but I do eat more healthier for me than before the fast. So now on Saturdays, I only eat fruit. I also only eat fruit first thing. It's either gonna be fruit or a smoothie, fruit and a smoothie, something like that when I break my fast. Before I would eat nuts and like dried fruit and stuff first, or just whatever I wanted. Sometimes I would still eat fruit first most of the time, but eating nuts and things like that, or seeds, dried seeds, can be hard on digestion, especially first thing. You're gonna wanna have something super easy for your body to digest and help with any elimination. We always wanna be eliminating. There's always something to eliminate. Unless you're like really, really in a state of, I don't know, but most of the time there's gonna be something to eliminate. I also took a video diary every single day of that fast that I did for the summer solstice. So if you want to see those video diaries, I will have them linked below. They're called Spiritual to Material, and basically I turned these video diaries into a course teaching how to paradigm shift, because I used this fast intentionally, knowing that the summer solstice was there, knowing that the strawberry moon was there, to harness that energy and shift myself out of the state of being that I was in. Because as healthy and knowledgeable and spiritual that I was then, I knew that there were still things that I was fighting, things that I wanted to get over, things that I wanted to get past, things that I wanted to say, and I knew exactly who I wanted to be, but it just felt like I couldn't get there. I was there some days, I was her in some moments during the day, but I wasn't her the way that I wanted to be. And I noticed that after the fast, it took, and I'm still in this process, but it sometimes doesn't happen immediately. It takes a little bit of time, but it's working. It's worked for me. I've shifted. My mindset has shifted, and I just feel better. I feel different, and I feel good. So if you're curious on how to do this using food, using fasting, then check the link in the description. And let me think of one more. I think they're okay. Let me think of one more thing about fasting that's super important. I just want you to know that basically fasting isn't scary. There's people who fast for multiple days. There's people who fast for weeks. There's people who fast for months. Jesus fasted for 40 days and nights, and there's people out here who are still doing that. So know that you're gonna want to build yourself up. Don't start with a 21-day fast if you've never fasted before. It's gonna be really hard on your mind and your body. If you feel strong enough, okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. So Start slow, start with 1 day, and you're gonna feel so much better. And even with a 1 day fast, refeed yourself a little bit better. Eat more fruit the next day, or more leafy greens and herbs and things like that. Okay? Peace.